Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Lewis Cooper Experience podcast experience. I mentioned in my Borat review that I just recorded earlier, and will be posted the day before this is posted. I believe that I'm having trouble with my headset at the moment, so I'm using my microphone on my camera, so it might not be the best audio quality, but I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. But I wanted to get this recorded, and it was annoying me trying to figure out the best thing to do with the camera. So here we are. But yeah, hope everybody is well. I've got some good stuff to talk about. There's an irony that I just talked about Borat too, because my movie of the week, straight into this week, is a very, very different movie. My movie of the week this week is, again, also ridiculous because it's a movie that's about 80 years old. It's Citizen Kane, which you may have heard of. But I watched for the first time this week, and everyone knows that Citizen Kane is a thing, but I don't know many people that have actually watched it, and I never had. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch this film from 1941. I'll have to look at it in the terms that it's an 80-year-old film, and it won't be what I'm used to, and you kind of have to adjust yourself, kind of your expectations and that kind of thing. But when I watched it, it's on BBC iPlayer if you want to watch it, so you can watch it for free. Um, I say actually, before I say that, I've been watching a lot of Orson Welles clips on YouTube recently, and he was an absolutely fascinating man. I knew who he was for a long time, mainly because he played Unicron in Transformers, the animated movie, when I was a kid. But he's a really interesting guy, and he doesn't, he's the ultimate doesn't care kind of thing. Like he'll say he said whatever he wanted to, whenever he wanted to about anyone, and he was very much kind of a modern day. I say modern day, but you know what I mean. Sort of Renaissance man, like he created a lot of things. And Citizen Kane he did when he was 25 years old, and it was he directed it and he starred in it, and it's quite something. Like it still really holds up. Like you don't have to kind of say have this preconceived notion of it being an older film, but it's he himself, Orson Welles playing the titular character, is very, very charismatic. Like he like generally in real life and in this film as well. He just kind of he's very watchable, and he's very affable and likable. Like not necessarily as a character, but as an actor portraying that character. And it's really, really interesting. And the way it's shot doesn't seem old at all. Like it's renowned for introducing all these new kind of techniques. Now I don't know much about cinematography, like the technical aspect of it, are completely above my head. But yeah, it's kind of renowned for these things. I watched an interview with Orson Welles when he said about it was hard for him to find a cameraman, which I guess you would now sort of call the director of photography. I don't know if they really used that term then, but who everyone then there was like a set of rules you had to stick to when you made films, and the cameraman that he chose didn't care. He was happy to break any rules. And Orson Welles himself said he was only 25. He was a young man, and he basically just said he doesn't really know what he was doing. So he just looked at the camera the way he wanted it to see what he wanted to show, and then they just did it. And he said like we accidentally invented these new techniques, which is quite something. Like the camera movements are very dynamic, very interesting. It's like you just wouldn't expect that from a film at the time. Not that I've seen that many. I'm just assuming based on kind of what you would think films would be like going that far back. But yeah, it was a really interesting film to watch. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I've got that. I've filled in that blank in kind of cinema history in my head now. But yeah, it's my film recommendation of the week, 1941 Citizen Kane. But yeah, and next section, my comic of the week. I've already done a video about this, but I love it so much. I want to talk about it some more. Mr. Miracle, the deluxe edition hardcover. There's the cover there. I've taken the dust jacket off. I haven't got it to hand at the moment, but it doesn't matter. I will definitely do another video about this when I go into more detail about the story, because I'm rereading it again. Rereading it, so I'm reading it for the second time. I read it last year, and it's just a beautiful book. I absolutely adore it. Like one of the highlights of my day at the moment is when I sit there and I read the one chapter of this, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Like I say, I won't go into too much because I've already done a separate video about it, but just this character, Mr. Miracle, has been around for such a long time. He's such an old school character, and he's just been reinvented in this kind of way in like more recent years by Tom King and Mitch Gerads. And I just absolutely love it. I'm just absolutely in love with this book. Like I just show a little bit of the artwork and stuff there. A lot of it's done in this kind of frame style where it's like a grid kind of thing, and it tends to they use the technique where it's sorry, my bookmarks need falling out there. Just trying to be careful of the spine. They use a technique where actually this is a really good example of exactly what I'm talking about. where they kind of repeat some of the frames. So you can see there he's doing one of his escape artist stunt things. It's just him getting into a barrel, and they kind of repeat it, or they make little alterations to it, and that. And it kind of really well puts across the movement of time kind of thing, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite books. I mean, just the artwork is so varied and just beautiful, and I love it. But yeah, I'll definitely do a whole separate video about this, and kind of more in depth look at it. But yeah, there he is, there, Mr. Miracle. I love it. It's my comic of the week. It's brilliant. Next segment is action figure of the week, and this is one of my absolute favourites as well. I got this recently. It is none other than The Thing, the Marvel Legends Fantastic Four line, Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. And I got this recently. I brought the whole line, all 6 figures, and this is one of the ones that stands out. It's super flexible and posable. He can do all kinds of stuff. You can have him doing the Shawn Michaels. He does all kinds of things. And it's a very weighty figure. Like when I got the box and I picked it up, I was like, yeah, that's some serious heft to it. The only bit that's a bit weird is he's kind of, you see there's like a line inside his chest there, and I don't know if that's meant to be a bit more flexible ideally than it is, but you know, it doesn't bother me too much. He's got the blue eyes there, of course, that's what he's known for. And Ben Grimm's one of my favourite characters from the Fantastic Four. He's very much the heart and soul of the group. He's the misunderstood kind of monster sort of thing. Like, he's not a monster, but he looks, you know, he's the Thing, as he named himself. It's and Reed named himself Mr. Fantastic, so I mean, it's self-awareness is important. But yeah, it's the detail on this figure as well is really cool. You can see on the back there how he's all rocks and stuff. But yeah, he's the conscience of the group. And I like it when he wears like his overcoat and his hat. Like it makes a difference, but it's when he's in kind of noir detective mode as well. But this is a super cool figure. I really like it. It goes well with all the other ones as well. It really sort of stands out. But yeah, like I say, it's very flexible. You can do a little double bicep pose there. Yeah, Ben Grimm. The box is cool as well. There's the box there with the 4 logo and the picture on the side. Nice drawing there, and it's got all the other in the line there. So you've got She-Hulk, The Thing, Johnny, Sue, Reed, Doctor Doom, which is a great figure. I'll probably feature that one soon. And then there's the Super Skrull builder figure inside there, because you can probably just about see in there. There's a Super Skrull head there, but there's one on the other side as well. So I've put that on the Super Skrull builder figure, which made me want to collect all this line because the Super Skrull figure is great as well. But yeah, there he is, Ben Grimm, The Thing, Clobber in Time, etc. And finally, is news. I've made a few notes in this one because when I recorded this last week, I didn't have that much news, and then all the news happened afterwards. So mainly it's TV series news. There's going to be a Green Lantern TV series on HBO Max, which is an American thing. I don't know what that's going to be over here just yet. I'm assuming we'll get it on some channel or another. But it's not going to be featuring the main Lanterns, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, or Kyle Rayner. I think it's going to be, they said Guy Gardner and some of the more obscure Lanterns. And that probably doesn't mean much to most people because Green Lantern is a character that's never really kind of taken off over here in England, or kind of, you know, I don't know what it's like elsewhere outside of America, but I'm a big fan of the character. The movie was, you know, was what it was, the Ryan Reynolds movie, but I like the idea because there's a lot of Lanterns and a lot of scope for different characters all throughout the universe. So that's an interesting idea, and I kind of like they're not using the kind of the main ones, because that was kind of like the old Batman series, Brave and the Bold, the cartoon one, where they kind of use the secondary kind of known characters. Like they wouldn't use Superman and Wonder Woman, they'd use Green Lantern and Blue Beetle and kind of the other versions of them rather than the main ones. Other TV news, which came out right after I finished recording my last one, was that the TV series Dexter is coming back for an extra series, which ended a fair while ago now. I mean, I've got all 8 seasons, I think. Was it 9? I can't remember. 8, yeah. All 8 up there. And a lot of people complain about the ending. I didn't really care. It didn't bother me. I think people get upset when a TV show they like ends no matter what. Like, they're not upset because of the ending, they're upset because it's ended. And I just, like, I don't know how else you could have ended Dexter. I won't go into details in case you haven't seen it, but it's a great series and I recommend it. And I'm looking forward to the new series, maybe 2021, I think, which is when, you know, everything's going to be now. But I loved it and I'm looking forward to it being back again. Other bit of news is they announced a little while ago the Marvel series on Disney Plus, the She-Hulk series. I'm a big She-Hulk fan. That Tatiana Maslany, her name is, an actress who had been cast as Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, but she's now come out and said that's not true, which is weird because everyone picked it up. Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk himself, confirmed that it was true, and he says like "Welcome to the family" kind of thing. And yeah, but it doesn't seem to be true now, so I don't quite know what's going on there. But I thought she was a good choice. I've not seen her in much. I mainly know her from a couple of episodes of Parks and Rec she was in, but she had that kind of look. So I'm hoping they base it off of the Dan Slott She-Hulk comics, which are great. And she's kind of when she's in Jennifer Walters mode, she's a bit more kind of your normal kind of girl kind of thing. And sort of very sort of down to earth, and that I think that would have worked quite well. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I haven't really got a particular casting I'd like in mind for She-Hulk, but that's it's cool. I'm just glad there's going to be a She-Hulk series. That's really cool. And the last bit of news is George Miller, creator of Mad Max and director of Babe and Happy Feet, is making a prequel to Mad Max about Charlize Theron's character from Mad Max Fury Road, Furiosa. Which was, to be fair, Fury Road was very much her movie anyway. Max was just kind of a guy that was there. I don't say that in a bad way because I thought it was great. I saw it at the cinema, and I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it on a small screen. It was a film that you absolutely had to see at the cinema. And one day, hopefully, if cinemas are still a thing, I will see it again at the cinema. Because watching it on the TV just doesn't seem right to me. But Anya Taylor-Joy has been cast as young Furiosa, who I'm a massive fan of. She was in Split and what's the follow-up to Split Glass. She was in The Witch, which is Robert Eggers' horror film, which I really liked. She was in New Mutants recently, but I didn't see that, and nobody else did, so that's fine. But I like her a lot, and it's also they've cast Chris Hemsworth in it as well, because you got to have an Australian guy in there. It's Yahya Abdul Mateen II, which I've mentioned before in my Trial of Chicago 7 review, is one of my um, favourite actors at the moment, and one of my favourite names to say. It's a great name. He was in the Candyman movie, which was supposed to be coming out. He was great in the Watchmen series from last year, and he's Black Manta in the Aquaman movies as well. He did a lot of stuff, and he's having a really good. Say he was in the Trial of Chicago 7 as well, and he's having a really good couple of years. He's been in a lot of stuff, so that's great. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I like George Miller created the Mad Max films, and then he went off and did loads of other stuff for years and years and years, and then went back to it again, and now he's doing it again. So I think that's cool. But yeah, so that's a lot of news to wrap up with. But yeah, thank you very much for listening once again. I will keep doing these weekly. If people want to watch them, great. If they don't, I'm still going to keep doing them. So yeah. Anyway, take care. All the best. Please like and subscribe, and other YouTube stuff. And thank you very much. Bye.